Imagine a company bigger than Facebook, Apple, or Google, yet one that almost no one outside of China had ever heard of, until it was blacklisted by the US government in 2025. Meet Tencent. Now, when you think of Chinese tech giants, names like Alibaba, ByteDance, and Huawei might come to mind. But Tencent's influence stretches far and wide, quietly shaping industries across the world. You might not realize it, but Tencent owns or has invested in some of your favorite apps, games, and services. The cute penguin mascot may make Tencent look friendly, but don't be fooled. Tencent is like an octopus, its tentacles wrapped around everything, from social media, gaming, and entertainment to finance, artificial intelligence, and even surveillance. This is a company so powerful that it makes Facebook, Google, and even Microsoft look small in comparison. So how did a tiny messaging startup turn into one of the most influential and controversial companies on the planet? This is the rise, fall, and global drama of Tencent. Let's rewind to 1998. A young Chinese entrepreneur named Ma Huateng, better known as Pony Ma, had an idea. What if China had its own version of ICQ, the popular messaging app of the late 90s? So he built one. It was called OICQ, and it quickly gained traction, amassing millions of users in China. But there was a problem. OICQ wasn't making any money. Tencent was hemorrhaging cash, paying massive server costs with no revenue stream. Then came the real nightmare. An American company, AOL, which owned ICQ, sent Tencent a cease and desist letter. They accused Tencent of violating their intellectual property and demanded that OICQ change its name immediately. At the time, OICQ had over 1 million users, but Tencent was broke. There was no way they could afford to fight a legal battle against a giant like AOL, so they rebranded. OICQ became QQ. But that name change didn't solve the bigger issue. Tencent still wasn't making money, and it was on the brink of collapse. With QQ's user base growing rapidly, Pony Ma knew he needed funding. He pitched 10 cent to venture capitalists, explaining the problem. Tencent had millions of users, but no way to generate revenue. If they didn't find a solution soon, the company would fail. His honesty paid off. IDG Capital and other investors saw the potential and invested $2.2 million in Tencent for a 40% stake. Tencent was alive. But for how long? With new funding, Tencent kept growing. But success attracts enemies. One of Tencent's first real battles came when Microsoft accused them of copying their chat software. Microsoft was a global giant. Tencent was a small, fragile startup. If Microsoft crushed them, that would be the end. But Pony Ma and his team didn't back down. They quickly redesigned QQ to avoid legal trouble and continued growing. But despite these victories, Tencent was still struggling financially. By 2000, the company was drowning in debt, and once again, it seemed like Tencent was on the verge of collapse. Then, salvation arrived. A South African company called Naspers invested $32 million into Tencent, saving it from bankruptcy. No one knew it at the time, but this investment would turn out to be one of the most important deals in tech history. With this new funding, Tencent was ready to take the next big step. Fast forward to 2011, Tencent launched WeChat. At first, WeChat was just another messaging app, but then Tencent had a revolutionary idea. Why stop at messaging? What if WeChat could be an all-in-one app, a super app? They transformed WeChat into the most powerful digital ecosystem in China. You could chat, shop, book tickets, order food, pay bills, even access healthcare, all within WeChat. The result? WeChat exploded. It became the default app for life in China, with over 1.3 billion users, making over $1 billion in transactions daily. Tencent had finally cracked the code. They weren't just a chat service anymore. They were a financial empire. But with great power comes great scrutiny. Tencent's success wasn't just because of smart business decisions. It also had a powerful ally, the Chinese government. Tencent's headquarters is in Shenzhen, a special economic zone where companies are given more freedom as long as they serve China's interests. And Tencent did just that. The Chinese Communist Party used WeChat as a tool for censorship and surveillance. During the COVID-19 pandemic, WeChat was used to track citizens' health status. It could even prevent people from traveling if the government flagged them as unhealthy. With its massive data collection, Tencent became an extension of China's surveillance state. And that's when global governments started paying attention. While Tencent dominated China, it had one problem. It struggled to succeed internationally. WeChat's global version had barely any users outside China. But there was one Chinese tech company that was succeeding overseas, ByteDance, the creators of TikTok. Tencent tried to compete by launching a rival to TikTok within WeChat, but it flopped. Realizing that not all battles can be won, Tencent took another approach. They invested in ByteDance instead. Tencent was no longer just a tech company, it was an investment powerhouse. One of Tencent's biggest successes came from an industry that no one expected, gaming. Tencent didn't just make games, they bought games. They acquired stakes in Riot Games, League of Legends, Supercell, Clash of Clans, Epic Games, Fortnite, and even Ubisoft. By 2023, Tencent was the most powerful gaming company on the planet. But China's government wasn't happy. They cracked down on gaming, restricting playtime for kids and introducing strict regulations. Tencent's stock took a hit. Still, Tencent didn't slow down. They expanded their investments into Tesla, Spotify, and Snapchat. Tencent wasn't just a company anymore, it was an empire. Then came 2025. The US government accused Tencent of being more than just a tech company. They claimed it was an extension of the Chinese government, used for surveillance and data collection. Suddenly, Tencent was a global target. If banned outright, Tencent's global empire would collapse overnight. WeChat would disappear from the US market, and Tencent's gaming investments would be in danger. Tencent's dream of global dominance was in peril. So what happens now? Will Tencent survive this geopolitical war, or is this the beginning of its global retreat? From a small startup to a global juggernaut, Tencent's story is a testament to ambition and power, but as the world changes, so too will Tencent's future. The question remains, will Tencent adapt and rise again, or is this the end of their empire? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the biggest tech giants shaping our world. I'll catch you in the next one.